Welcome back to Important Library Stuff, a podcast where library staff share the inside scoop on all the stuff that happens at Prince William Public Libraries. And trust us, it's a lot of stuff. I'm your host, Emily Bickers, media specialist from the Office of Communications and Marketing, and I am joined each episode by fellow staff members who know a lot more on each episode's topic than I do, which for this episode is film adaptations of books, and we'll share information about the movie and TV programs and resources at the library. Today I'm joined by Sarah Parker, librarian at Chim Park Library.
Hi.
Who is currently at Manassas City Library during Chim Park's renovations, as well as Claire Olson, librarian at Bull Run Library. Thank you both for joining me.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for having us.
So since this is both of yours first time on the podcast, what are your 3 favorite books?
Well, that's not fair. I guess I would go with the His Dark Materials trilogy. And you know what? That's technically 3 books, so I'm just going to go with that. It's gonna be one of my
love
faves.
that series, too. That's wonderful. I think I would go with, these are a couple of books that I always recommend. Rick Bragg's All Over But the Shouting. Ruth Reichel wrote a book called Tender at the Bone that is laugh out loud funny about growing up cooking with her mom. And her mom is super eccentric in the kitchen, so it's a great read. And then I wouldn't be a good English lit major if I didn't say Dickens' Great Expectations.
Classic.
But it's so good. The story is so good.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't think anyone would disagree that distilling often lengthy books into a 2-hour movie or even a TV series is a really tough challenge. Unfortunately, many people end up disappointed with the final screen adaptation. I've even seen staff walking around with T-shirts that just say the book was better. But on the flip side, a screen adaptation coming out can often inspire people to read the book and gets a lot of people talking about the book. So are you a book first or screen first person when you hear a movie's coming out?
I am definitely a book first person, and I'm a really reluctant screen person. So a lot of times I will say, yeah, do that if you want to, but read the book. So I'm definitely book first.
I tend to be a combo. It depends because, like, for instance, Jurassic Park. I saw the movie first. I didn't know it was a book because, I was a kid. And as an adult, I was like, wow, I'll read the book because it's, I love Jurassic Park. And I will say I do have a hot take on this, and I'm prepared for people to come at me in the comments. I do think that some movie adaptations are better than the book. I do. And for me, Jurassic Park is one of them. But yeah, it depends on if I end up seeing the movie first and I didn't realize it was a book.
Yeah, that happens.
And then I'll read the book and be like, okay, let's develop our opinion this way.
Yeah, I run into that a lot at the desk. People who have seen the movie and then, are totally disinterested in the book. It's turned them off to the book.
And I've had to do that as well. For instance, once again, we'll bring it up since I just brought up my favorite book series. The Golden Compass was made into a movie in 2007. It does not, embrace the thought of the book at all. But they've made a miniseries on HBO Max. It's so much better.
I think Percy Jackson's series is another one like that. The books were captivating, and that was a huge series to promote to young boys and girls in that age group. I mean, they just became voracious readers after getting into that series.
What was the first book-to-screen adaptation you remember having strong feelings about?
I'm going to say Little Women, the 1997 version of Little Women. And once again, I know, like I said, I'm ready for people to come at me in the comments. I thought it was an amazing adaptation, and I actually liked it a little better than the book. But I'm sorry, I know you're an English lit.
I totally agree on this one. I was going to bring this up. Little Women is one of the best adaptations I've seen, definitely.
They're high-fiving.
It is really, really well done and really brought that book to life in a way that maybe you just couldn't.
And you also have an iconic 90s cast. You have Winona Ryder,
everybody.
Claire Danes, Christian Bale, Kirsten Dunst, Susan Sarandon.
What about you, Claire?
There was an adaptation of The Secret Garden, which was a book that was so special to me when I was a kid, and my grandmother had read it to me over and over, and I was fascinated with the story in my head. And so as a really imaginative kid, I had created this world that was The Secret Garden. And I thought the adaptation, and there have been several, but the one I saw maybe in my 20s or something, I thought it was pretty decent. But, I am always partial because I think if you, as a reader, if you are really absorbed into your reading, you are creating this world, and then your adaptation doesn't really match it. You're sort of like, oh, that's not what the gate looked like. I'm sorry, but that's not where the swing was. The moors are not the right color.
No, I agree 100% because, that's what happened with the Golden Compass. I watched it. I was like, no.
Why do you think we as readers care so much about adaptation getting things right?
I think it's a dedication to the book. I think it's the way that we build it up in our imaginations, and I think it's authenticity. You know, we've made a connection with this book, with this author, with these characters, and we want them to be portrayed correctly. We have a vested interest in them coming out. You know, I remember my children, they were so committed to that series, you know, and my son had fallen in love with all those characters, and he knew them. You know, he felt like he had relationships with these people. And then the movie came out, and he was like, who are these people? So I think it's just that. It's that relationship building that happens when a reader reads a book.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. And, you know, then sometimes you'll have the stories where they like also introduce some other little things and you're like, no, why are you doing this? This is not a part of the book. I get needing to deviate from certain things because of, you know, run times and things like that. But don't introduce new things if it's not even related to the book. But I will also make the argument for this. In some adaptations, we do get different characterizations. Once again, I'm going to bring up Jurassic Park as an example. John Hammond in the book is a terrible human being. Terrible. He doesn't take accountability for anything. He blames all of his mistakes on other people. He's terrible, just terrible. But because I think the actor was so nice and so like warm and hospitable, they're like, all right, we need to rewrite this a little bit. And so when you do read that book, if you've seen the movie first, it's jarring because you're like, what is this? And then you'll also have moments where, like, I guess characters can be mashed together into one because it's like, okay, we didn't have enough maybe we didn't have enough budget to get two characters, or maybe we thought that this wasn't necessary. And so they kind of smush them together.
You mentioned Little Women earlier. What are some of your other favorite adaptations?
I love The Wizard of Oz. I thought they did that really well. The Judy Garland version, just when I remember, again, my grandmother, big reader, and she read to me, and she would finish that, and then she would close it, and she'd say, what do you want to read now? And I'd say, start again. And she would open it back up to page 1. And when I got to see that movie, I was young, and I remember being just as terrified as I was when she would read about the monkeys as when I saw them. I mean, I was screeching, and I was like, they're everything I thought they were going to be and worse. But so many things about that movie were just beautiful. I mean, the slippers were just what you thought in your head, and I just think it was really magical the way they did it.
I agree with you 100%. One adaptation that I did also enjoyed that is completely different, and this is one case where I agree that it being completely different worked. Wicked. Because the book is significantly different from the musical and the movie. And it's for good reason. There's a lot of things it's like, no, that would not translate well onto a Broadway stage. No, that would not translate well on a movie screen. Probably not.
It's much darker.
So much darker.
Yeah.
It's a really well-written book.
It's
really
such a good book.
so good.
But
It's
the
amazing.
movies were good, too.
The movies were great.
But I didn't put them together. You know, that's another thing that sometimes happens. Like, if you had asked me, like, is this The Wicked you read? No, not at all.
It's its own
thing. It's its own
Yeah.
thing.
I think
It became its own thing.
I think it's because for me, I was a theater kid. And so we all knew Wicked from the Broadway musical first. And so, like, I'm a teenager and, you know, all of a sudden we're getting, it's like someone brought a copy of Wicked to school for all of us to share. And it's like, oh, this was a book beforehand. But I do think that that's a really good adaptation. And it's translated so well. And it's become so significant to so many people, which is...
That whole series is so interesting and such a unique take on all the characters. Like, pulling all the characters out and giving them their stories, I thought was insanely genius. That was a very cool move.
One of the other big adaptations that gets pulled out when people talk about this is The Princess Bride. The film is so special, and then you read the book and you're like, I can see how this became the film, but some things you just need to see on screen to really, understand the epicness.
And sometimes the screen is better than the book. I mean, that can happen too. And I think in that case, that's the screen adaptation that we all fell in love with first was like, whoa, life-changing. I mean, it's on the top list of so many people's best movies.
Well, I do agree with you 100%. But what's also interesting is they had the author on set for that one. There's like a whole story where like they're in the swamp and Robin Wright's dress catches on fire and they have to cut because you can hear him screaming, her dress is on fire, because I guess he didn't realize it was supposed to be a special effect or something. So that is one of the rare instances where it's like, okay, we had an author on set to consult. So maybe that's one of the reasons why it was so iconic, is because they had the author with them to point out, it's like, hey, this was actually what I was thinking. And it made it better.
Yeah.
Have you ever reevaluated a book after seeing its adaptation?
I think Great Expectations was that way for me. I had that in my head in a certain way, and I got really lost in that book, and it was really meaningful for me. And then I saw the adaptation and just went off not in a negative way, but in a totally different direction with it. And I think that different things were highlighted in the adaptation that were not really strongly focused on in the book. And so I think that part of it just shifted my perspective and maybe widened it a little bit. But definitely I remember afterward thinking, oh, did I have the wrong interpretation of what this book was about after I'd seen the adaptation? But then, ultimately I think it was kind of a nice widening versus a letdown or anything like that.
I don't think I have, really. I think if I do think that they're completely different, I kind of just keep them separate. I'm like, okay, this is the movie, this is the book. They're completely separate entities. So that way I'm not trying to,
Have adaptations changed how readers discover books?
I think they definitely excite people about books, and they get them interested in coming in, especially younger readers or more reluctant readers. The challenge for the public librarians is sort of capturing that momentum that brought them in the door, that got them interested, and then feeding that interest with other books and materials.
Yeah, I think I kind of see it like, okay, I want this person to stay. I want this person to keep reading. So I kind of am like, okay, let's play the game of, let's find a bunch of different things that kind of might be somewhat related to that media that you watched or listened to, and let's try to find something that's kind of close. So maybe that'll be the one. Maybe that'll be what gets you.
So what's one book you'd love to see adapted next?
So I think it's been rumored for a while. I would love to see The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I think it has been rumored for ages.
That one is so cinematic. Like even reading
it would be beautiful. Like there's been always like all of these rumors about who's going to play who, and it's just like, if you're going to do it, just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
Yes.
The costuming. I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful.
Gosh, it would be gorgeous.
Stunning.
I think I would say those Holly Black books, because I just feel like if they were done well, they could be right up there with for addiction or, world building, like up there with Star Wars or something, because it's just such an intricately built world, and the characters are so wild and different, and it would be really pretty on the screen. A lot of the scenes in the book would be really magical if they were up on a big screen.
So going backwards, what's an original movie or TV series you wish there was a book version of so you could get a more expanded look at the universe or characters?
This is one of my favorite TV shows. And they technically do have a couple of books, but it's not like a lot. It's a blink and you miss it. Leverage. I would love it. So basically, I don't know if anybody has seen this show.
I've not.
So basically, it is about an ex-insurance agent who ends up becoming the mastermind to a group of thieves, and they work together to take down corporations. They, take down the big bads. And it's a really great show. It's very quirky. You've got Hardison the hacker, you've got Elliot the hitter, you've got Parker the thief, and you've got Sophie the grifter, who was trying to be an actress instead of a grifter, but she can't act unless she's running a con. And it ran for 5 seasons. It was in the early 2000s. They did a reboot on Amazon Prime for 3 seasons. Unfortunately, it got canceled. Sadness. I think that it would be really interesting to have like maybe some, because we do get a little backstory into each of the characters a little bit throughout the series, but it'd be cool to maybe have some prequel books, or maybe even some. In the reboot, they started Leverage International, and so it might be cool to get like a Leverage International novel, and it's like a
spin-off.
Yes,
yeah.
That would be so cool.
I love it.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, Dean Devlin, if you're listening to this.
So I wanted to take a moment to discuss fan fiction. Sarah, so you run a virtual program called Writing Fan Fiction. Can you briefly describe what fan fiction is for those who haven't heard of it?
So fan fiction, the gist of it is, like, let's say you have a favorite television series or movie, and maybe you want you want 2 characters to get together, or maybe you don't like how a plot's going in your show. Fan fiction is basically rewriting the story to how you want it told. It is so much fun, and it's also really great for people who are trying to work on their writing style to make their own original fiction. I'd also like to point out there are several famous authors now that started out as fan fiction writers. Ali Hazelwood, Essie Hinton, Cassandra Clare. All of these writers were fan fiction writers, and it's a great way to develop your world building. It's a great way to work on character development. It's a great way to work on your dialogue. It's great to work on structure as well and figuring out your style as a whole. It's just so much fun. And our group is also really fun too. We meet up on the 3rd Tuesday of every month from 6 to 7. We'll start off by doing a little bit of free writing. The time depends on how many people show up. Then we'll go around and we talk about what we've been working on for the month and maybe what do we need help with. I see it as kind of like we're just a community where we can talk about what we've been working on with no judgment.
That's fantastic, a writer's group. I love that.
Yes.
And you register for it because it's virtual.
We
so
do
you need
have
the
to
link.
register for it. You guys are welcome to reach out at Manassas City if you guys want more information as well. I'm happy to give it. Also, I would point out all fandoms are welcome, and original writers are welcome too. No one is turned away in this group.
And then the other group you run was your podcast discussion group.
Yes, podcast discussion group. We're like book club, but with podcasts. Every month we're listening to a different podcast, and we flip-flop between fiction and nonfiction. We're 100% virtual. We meet the last Thursday of every month from 7 to 8, and we are just so fun, and we would love to have you guys.
And registration is also required in order to get the virtual link.
Because it's virtual. I got to make sure I get everybody.
And I love these because this is what I am always, on the streets saying is that you don't even have to come into the library. Wow. The library is available to you from your couch.
Yeah.
So Prince William Public Libraries has a lot of books, but we also have a lot of movies and TV and not just adaptations. And then there's our film-related programming. So where should I go to find movies and TV shows to check out or stream?
Streaming, Canopy. 10 out of 10 would recommend. And for...
Hoopla also has some.
Oh, Hoopla too.
Hoopla has great documentaries. They have a lot of nonfiction if you're into that, and then audiobooks, ebooks. But I'd always tell people just jump online, get on the digital library, and just go crazy. Go down the rabbit holes, get in there. The great discussions classes are all for free on there. Those are super in-depth if you're wanting to go down a nonfiction road.
Yeah, we've got all sorts of stuff on the digital library. I have trouble keeping track sometimes. I'm like, wait, we have that now?
Pronunciator for learning languages, LinkedIn Learning for getting certificates and upping your game professionally. You can't beat that.
JSTOR if you're an academic and you're looking to work on a paper. We also have a bunch of like those early access videos for the kids and for adults.
You've got the Tumble Books library, super fun, read-along stories for kids. I tell parents all the time, that's great for the car, the doctor's office, anywhere you've got to wait. if they're going to have their tablets or phones, that's a perfect thing to do to keep them reading and engaged.
So many things. And also, I know it's not movies or television shows, but you can connect your Libby to your Kindle if you have a Kindle, which can make your life a lot easier if, like, you know, some people can't or have difficulty on reading on their phone for a variety of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So
And a lot of people don't realize that you can download these apps for Canopy and Hoopla onto your smart TV, so you can watch with your free library card access on your TV. So you don't have to do this on a computer or on your phone or something like that. You can enjoy the big screen.
And if you want the blockbuster experience, we do have DVDs. And that's the
Yes.
best way to see like the newest releases. What programs are on deck for film and TV lovers at the library?
So the Bull Run Public Library has Sunday matinee movies coming up, and those are going to be just a random collection of movies, and it's open, and you can bring your snacks, you can bring your camp chair, you come to the community room, hang out, watch a movie together, and those should be super fun. We'll see if it takes off, and if so, we'll keep it going.
Yeah, and at Haymarket Gainesville, they're doing Saturday movie parties at the library. They're also doing a Galentine's Day movie marathon on Friday, February 13th. And then I also wanted to mention there's a virtual book club called Books Alive from a wonderful librarian at Potomac. They read the book and watch the movie and discuss every month.
for me. Once again, podcast group meets the last Thursday of every month from 7 to 8. This month we're discussing Obsessions, Wild Chocolate. Then fan fiction meets the third Tuesday of every month from 6 to 7. And then we also have the Never Told Book Club, which is a book club that's dedicated to both adults and young adults who enjoy reading young adult fiction. That one is also virtual, and it meets 7 to 8 on the third Thursday of every month.
Thank you both so much for joining me. Do you have any parting thoughts or tips?
Oh my gosh. Everybody go to the public library.
Come to our libraries. We want to see you.
Yes.
Love discussing movies and books and their adaptations.
We'll discuss a lot of things.
And just remember, the library is there for you. It's a public service. The more that you take advantage of it, the more that we can do for you.
And we want you to come in, and we want, I've had people who sometimes they'll come in for tech help, and they'll just be like, I didn't want to ask. I'm like, please ask me.
Yeah, please ask
Please
us
ask.
everything.
Ask
Yeah.
us anything. We might not have the answer,
Yeah,
but
but
we will
we're-
find someone who does.
I will close us out with a quote from the book referenced in the episode's title, Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I have not broken your heart. You have broken it. And in breaking it, you have broken mine. Thanks for listening, and join us next month for the next episode of Important Library Stuff.
Bye.
Bye-bye.